Warning. Channel Robozoid contains adult language, adult content, strong opinions, and verbal brutality. Viewer discretion is advised.
If I drop the big science experiment and it floats off in space, is it really that big of a deal? What is a big deal is, you don't stop this government from doing something really bad that harms people.
Talking about doing something bad, last year you released a video with some of your colleagues who are also veterans, as you are, reminding the troops not to follow illegal orders.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
You ever heard of this guy by the name of Mark Kelly? Bald-headed Democrat, senator, or whatever position he holds. He is one of the biggest jack-offs I've ever seen in all of politics. He's probably one of the people who actually presided over the Trump trials that basically tried to throw him in jail for 15 or 17 years based on nothing. And, well, of course, this guy, like most other liberals, refuses to give Trump any credit for the successful Artemis II launch and the safe return of the 4 astronauts and 4 medical officers on board to make sure that the astronauts were going to be okay when they landed. Now, obviously, this bastard here, this bald-headed schmutz, he goes on and on, railing against Trump over this and that. He talks about of course, about all that other stuff, about the Straits of Hormuz. He goes on about the war in Iraq, which wasn't really a war, more of an impression of a war for us. And the bastard never learns anything from it. I think the worst part has to do with him basically going on and on about how if it was me running the space program, I wouldn't have all 7 white people up there, and just 1 black guy. I'd have multiple races and probably no whites. That's what this video is all about. And you're going to see that. But first, let me just give you some insight into what kind of a complete jack-off this man really is. This Mark Smelly, as we're going to call him. Mark Smelly Kelly. Just take a look.
That's what we have to do.
Let's go domestic. Trump and his cabinet has done all it can to end DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Because it's not inclusive, it's exclusive. It means no white people, you pompous piece of shit, you.
Saying they were just DEI, like they had really not served the country. How do you think we should respond to that, and how do you think this Congress, if they take the majority, and the next president, if it's a Democrat, how do you repair that? What do we do about this?
Well, let me talk about what happened a little bit up front, right, and where we are going with this administration. So, as soon as Pete Hegseth became the Secretary of Defense, he fired a number of people. One of them
fire your ass
was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General C.Q. Brown.
Don't know who that is.
Black man who has served his country for over 30-something years. One of the most qualified professional leaders that our military has.
Oh, please, his race had nothing to do with it.
Who was doing a fantastic job. And those terms, by the way, are supposed to be for 5 years. So he was supposed to continue to have this job. You don't get fired when the new president comes in, but they fired him. Now, that obviously, hurts him personally, professionally. You know who it hurts much more than that? Us, our country.
Who cares? Now, of course, this is the part that I had mentioned, the part I think you've all been waiting for, where he basically tries to wax on and wax off about the Artemis II launch, in which he would have rather have put, astronauts of different ethnic backgrounds on the shuttle rather than all whites. Because, yeah, he's another one of these self-hating, guilty white liberal Democrats who obviously hates his own race, Probably even hates himself. If I were him, I'd just hate the fact I ain't got any hair.
We've got to fix this. Now, in the United States Senate, I'm on the Armed Services Committee, the Intelligence Committee. We're going to hold these guys accountable.
No wonder they have no intelligence.
Let me tell you why this is also horrible for our country. So I had the opportunity to be the commander of the space shuttle a couple times. So I was the pilot twice, I was the commander twice. When you're the commander, you get some say in who your other crew members are going to be.
I'd like to leave you in space.
So the last thing I would want in a space shuttle crew would be 7 white guy, U.S. Navy test pilots like me. It would be a disaster.
Why would it be a
Let me
disaster?
tell you why. The reason it would be a disaster is because we all think the same. We all have the same experience.
Oh,
same
you think that
training,
all white people think the same, then you must think all black people think the same. You're a racist jack-off.
In any organization is to have people from different backgrounds, different experiences. And here's why.
Yeah. It's all about the diversities.
They approach things from a different baseline, and you get a much better outcome.
So what you're saying essentially is, if all the astronauts were either black, brown, Hispanic, Asian, not Caucasian, they would be so much better, even though they don't have the experience.
Last night. Incredibly diverse crew. The pilot of that mission is a guy named Victor Glover. Now,
You know, I think I've had enough of this asshole.
I met Victor for the first time. Excited to introduce.
I've heard enough of this bastard. Turn him off. Turn him off! I don't want to hear any more of him. I mean, he's the worst. He's a bad thinker, a bad legislator. He basically calls Trump out for having no discipline or experience, just calling him a simple developer who basically was in charge of the space mission, who weaponized outer space and basically created some sort of like a, I guess like a space defense program, or weaponizing space. But whatever. I'd like to see him try that. Do you think that Mark Smelly could last a second doing that sort of program? No, I don't think he could. He couldn't head it up if his life depended on it. I mean, he's just another jackoff from the Democrat side of things who doesn't see things from a real perspective, from an adult perspective, and honestly doesn't even care about this country at all, and only sees things through the prism of race, just like all the other guilty white liberals who hate themselves and hate them who resent being white. Yeah, this guy, he's obsessed with race. That's all he ever thinks about day and night. Race, 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 race. Race this, race that. I don't care if Mr. Glover was a black pilot. Fine. But he didn't make a big deal about his ethnicity, did he? He was qualified for the job. His skin color should be irrelevant. And honestly, fine. You want a whole crew of black astronauts? I'd love to see it. But you know what? It's got to be based on talent, merit, skill, and ability. It cannot be based solely on DEI hiring. That is not the way to run an effective space mission. As a matter of fact, you would probably have the Space Shuttle Challenger times 12 if you just put an inexperienced, multiracial astronaut crew on board. I mean, that flight was for real, what you saw, as opposed to, the phoniness of Katy Perry, just suddenly jumping out of the capsule and kissing the dirt. The human body actually needs time to readjust to Earth's atmosphere after having been in space for so long. I guess he didn't consider that. And then again, neither did all the phonies on the left. This has been the Robozoid saying, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, you guys know what to do already, don't you? So just remember this, that wokeness is weakness. Don't drink the Kool-Aid or the soy like Baldy did, because you're just going to wind up a complete giant mess with absolutely no brain in that little bald head of his. I mean, you could twist his head off and use it for a cue ball for all I give a shit. Be here or be absolutely nowhere.